According to Looking Up Movies, written by Richard Barsom and Dave Monahan, mise-en-scène literally means staging or putting on an action or scene. The two components that make up mise-en-scène are design and composition. Design is the way that the settings, props, lights, and actors all look. Decor, lighting, costuming, and makeup all go into creating this component of mise-en-scène. Composition, on the other hand, is the organization, distribution, balance, and relationship between both actors and objects within the space of a shot. Looking at composition, we find that it is made up of several elements, but the one I am focusing on in this video is framing. Filmsite.org defines framing as the way a shot is composed and the manner in which subjects and objects are surrounded or framed by the boundaries or perimeter of the film image or by the use of a rectangle or enclosing shape such as a shadow, mirror, door, or hallway within the film image. Although composition and framing can be found in all films, the movie Paris, Texas, directed by Wim Wenders, is a great example of framing, specifically open and closed framing. In order to understand open and closed framing, we should discuss them a little bit more. Open framing is designed specifically to create a world where the characters can move freely, while closed framing is designed to imply restriction to the reality of the world. Both open framing and closed framing, however, help tell a story and enhance the film. This shot, in which Walt drives and Travis sits in the back seat, is considered open framing. Here we see Walt's eyes framed by his rearview mirror, and we know that Walt is not talking to himself and that Travis is in the back seat. However, we cannot see Travis. In open framing, off-screen space is significant, and as a viewer, we assume that there will be a cut at some point in which the shot switches back to Travis's face. In this particular scene, we assume correctly. This form of open framing also shows point of view, a concept in which framing closely works with. This shot shows Travis's point of view. We are shown the back of Walt's head and his eyes, which are framed within a frame in the mirror. When the shot switches, we are shown a Travis sitting in the back of the car to the left side of the frame, showing Walt's point of view. Notice the shot only shows Travis from the chest up in the back window, not a full shot of Travis sitting in the back seat. This framing mimics that of what a driver would see in a rearview mirror. Another example of open framing in Paris, Texas, is a scene in which Travis finds Jane, who is working in a kind of brothel, and begins to talk to her. Take a look. In this scene, there are cuts back and forth from Travis back to Jane and so on. The off-screen space works with the on-screen space to enhance the conversation between these two characters. The open framing allows for both characters in this scene to leave the frame or to cut to action outside of the current frame that is being shown. Open framing in these instances captivates the viewer, making them question what will come next and draws them in anticipation through not knowing just what will happen after a shot ends. When Travis turns his chair around so that he is no longer facing Jane, the audience can see both Jane and Travis, and the framing switches from open to closed framing. But how do we know? Here in this shot, everything we need to see can be seen. Both characters' faces are in view, and it can be assumed that there will be no major cuts. Furthermore, we can see that Jane is framed within the frame. We see this as she faces towards the outside of the one-sided window. This shot shows that she is restricted and cannot leave the frame which surrounds only her. This is symbolic of the restriction which has been inflicted upon her character as well. This happens again in the shot in which Travis sits in the car next to Walt. This scene could have been shot with both Travis and Walt within one frame. However, the closed frame in which Travis is placed in shows that he cannot escape the frame. The difference in this scene compared to the last closed scene is that the off-screen space is significant. However, the audience is denied access to the off-screen space, showing also the restriction that has been placed upon this character. This type of framing creates tension within the scene as the character is boxed into a little corner with no escape. Closed framing differs from open framing in that the audience is able to relax. It is a break from anticipating the next shot and allows for a close and personal experience between the audience and the characters. Deciding framing and which type to utilize takes a careful eye, which Wim Wenders had. Wenders understood how open framing caused viewers to question and experience a mystery and certain tension regarding the space that was off-screen. He knew that by utilizing open framing, he could captivate the audience and keep them engaged. But Winters also knew the importance of close framing and the intimacy that it offered to the audience. There's no anticipation of what comes next, but an emotional experience is perfectly captured by encompassing all that is needed to be seen in one shot. Wim Wenders, the director of Paris, Texas, is a German director who was born in 1945. He first became interested in film when working as an engraver for Johnny Friedlander in France. Once he moved back to Germany, he enrolled himself in film school, where he studied from 1967 to 1970. In 1984, he created Paris, Texas, and won the Palme d'Or at Cannes. And in 1987, his film Wings of Desire won him Best Director, also at Cannes. However, his success is not limited to his narrative films. According to Artnet.com, Wenders has found success in documentary filmmaking as well, with films such as Buena Vista Social Club, made in 1999. He has also exhibited photographs in which he takes pictures when scouting for locations for his films. He currently resides and works in Los Angeles, California, Berlin, and Germany.